All right, morning folks. Welcome to another round of Coffee and Questions. What's today's topic? We're going to talk about PVC cutters. We'll start with the Pittsburgh ones. These are the ones that are available out at Harbor Freight. We'll do questions and answers on this, and I'll show you a couple of more that you might want to consider. All right, so here we go. Let me take a look at the first set of questions off of the forum, and let me see what the responses are. Yeah, the first comment on this is, does it cut straight? No, not on PVC. It's going to cut at an angle. Now, if I'm cutting like a garden hose or a heater hose or an air hose or something, you know, these are smaller diameter, and by manipulating it a little bit because it's a softer material, you can get a straight cut. So not a bad thing, but for PVC, this is not my favorite tool. It's bad, and I'll explain to you. If it's cut at an angle and you put that coupler on there with that cement, you better be careful about what you're doing, or at least try to trim it up a little bit, because when it cuts at that angle, you run a high risk of this thing blowing apart on you under pressure. I was using one similar to this that a friend of mine had got out, you know, at Harbor Freight, and when I saw it cut at an angle, I quit using it. I switched over to another tool because I could see what that problem was going to be when I'm putting together, you know, siphon valves on a sprinkler system. So that's what I was using it for at the time. But like I said, for other projects in and around the garage, it might work okay. The blade on these, the blade on these break and chip real fast on you. When you are out at Harbor Freight, before you buy this, take it apart, play with the ratcheting mechanism, make sure it's going to be okay for your use, but take a real close look at that blade. With any of these, even the ones that I show you after this, the blade is incredibly fine. It's like a razor blade. And so I take a real close look at the blade. And if you already see it's got some chips and stuff in there, then just don't buy the tool. Keep looking, or add more money to this and buy yourself a better quality tool. But definitely look very closely at these before you make that purchase. Lots of people complain, hey, once I got it home, it was all chipped. I saw it was broke, it was this, it was that. And so, you know, I throw out a lot of those, you know, when I'm reading through this, because I'm like, well, you should have really taken a closer look at this. You realize we all like, you know, going out to Harbor Freight and shopping. It's fun. We get good deals, modify things, have some fun, and it's not a bad place to go. But you have to be more alert when it comes to certain tools on what you're buying before you walk out of the store. I mean, if you would have noticed that, you probably wouldn't have purchased them. And you wouldn't have left all this negative stuff about how you had to return it, yada, yada, yada. So that's my comment on that. Okay, in the reviews, you're saying you saw where it can cut up to 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe. Yeah, no, it can't. Okay, so I would tell you, you know, 3/4 at best. And if it's something like Schedule 40 or anything that's thick, the tool is probably going to break on you. You have to go slow, be real careful. I would turn it back and forth, and remember, this thing cuts at an angle. That was my biggest negative when a friend of mine let me use his, and I just decided not to use it. Besides, I can tell by the feel, it's a cheap tool, but you know, look, what do you get what you pay for here? I mean, so intermittent light duty stuff, I mean, it probably would get you by fine, but otherwise I wouldn't touch this tool. I'd add more money to it. Let me see what else is here. You have there's struggle when you try to open it with the ratcheting mechanism, and you can feel it flex with pressure. Yeah, those things are true, but you know, it goes along with it being an inexpensive tool. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I ended up not wanting to use it. Well, I'm going to show you a picture of that. You know, is there a better one that I suggest? Yeah, let me change a picture. We'll continue the conversation. Just give me a sec. Okay, here's one made by Orbit. It's meant for sprinkler system PVC cutting, you know, 1 inch, you know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Those things are true. Somebody in the club had one. I demoed it. It cuts fairly straight, you know, without a problem. It has a good ratcheting, you know, system in it. So a lot of the previous complaints on the Harbor Freight one, they're not apparent here with this one. It's a good value for $10.72, ships prime. I don't have a lot to say about it because I haven't used it extensively, but out at the club, I cut up some PVC pipe trying it. It's very doable. Again, let me caution you on something for a minute. I read a lot of complaints in there about how the blades, both on the Orbit and the Harbor Freight one, and the next one we're going to talk about, they're junk, they chip easy, blah, blah, blah. And the guy was describing, and I'm not sure this is the case with everybody, you have to clean that pipe, okay? It's not going to cut through rocks and debris. You know, you reach down into a hole that's dirty to cut some PVC and you haven't cleaned that pipe. When it tries to cut through those little rocks or gravel or whatever, you're going to damage the blade on this. So one precaution, and I think it's an unfair negative statement, is to say, well, you know, the tip of this blade, you know, chips easy when you're trying to cut through something dirty. Yes, it's not meant to cut through something dirty. Clean it real well, okay? Take care of what you're cutting. This thing's like a razor blade, like I said. The blade is incredibly fine when you get to that edge. It's going to chip and break on you. You're going to call it junk. But if you turn around and you keep everything real clean and then you use this tool, and what I do is I give it a little bit of a rocking motion, like up and down or back and forth, however you want to put it. And with the ratcheting, I just go slow and I keep ratcheting and I watch what the tool is doing. This orbit tool, it cut perfectly fine without a problem. Is it going to last you as long as the Milwaukee one, which I'm going to show you next? No, probably not. But this is a very doable tool. So, you know, the Pittsburgh one, it's okay, I guess. I mean, you know, you could get by with it, I suppose, you know, but lots of problems, lots of issues between the blade, the ratcheting system, and, you know, the thing flexes on you like you wouldn't believe. This one doesn't flex. It cuts straight. Yes, you're going to pay a little bit more money. Let's talk about the Milwaukee one now. Okay, so here's the Milwaukee one. Ships prime, $53. Going to cost you quite a bit more. I have this one. This is the one, I've had this thing for years. And as long as, like I said, I take care of it, like I was telling you, I try never to cut through anything dirty. I mean, I have the inexpensive Orbit one that I just bought probably a couple of months ago, like I said, because I didn't own it and I haven't even used it yet. But the reason why I bought it, and I have two of them, my Milwaukee one, you know, I take really good care of it. I make sure the pipes are clean. Sometimes they're before they're even put into anything, so I know that they're very clean. And if I have something that's questionable, I reach over for that secondary one. I very much considered getting the Pittsburgh one because it's like, well, it's my throwaway one. I'll use that on dirty pipe and dirty things. But, you know, I went ahead and I went and got the Orbit ones. Okay, folks, so let's summarize this. You can buy other ones that are good cutters. I have a friend, he has an Apollo. I have another friend that bought the Rigid and another friend that's got a Cobalt. And they like the Cobalt ones. They're an okay product. They really are. I've used them. I've cut them. It works great. You know, nothing wrong with that. Rigid's good. I just happen to own the Milwaukee. There's a couple of quick tips. Hold it straight, rock it back and forth a little bit at a time. Go slow. You'll probably get yourself a fairly, you know, square cut. You don't want that angled cut for the reasons I told you. No dirt, debris on them, and you have to get one. You should really get one that has a ratcheting system. Don't buy the ones without the ratcheting system. I've had them in the past. I threw them away or got rid of them. I don't know, to each their own. Say, well, I don't want to buy two of them. I only want to buy one of them. Save up your money, get the Milwaukee. I mean, obviously Milwaukee makes, you know, great tools. And this cuts 1 5/8 max, like it says. Now, I haven't cut anything that big. Most I've cut up to with my Milwaukee is 1 inch, and it's generally, I cut 3/4, you know, PVC. So, you know, it works great. It's very durable. The ratcheting mechanism on it is perfect. And the blade, as long as you take care of it, the blade will stand up to pretty much anything. And like I said, I've had it for a long time. I'll leave the links below. These are my thoughts on PVC cutters. Be careful and understand when you buy the really cheap ones, that's what you're buying. You're buying a cheap tool. Add more money to it, get a better quality one. If you're going to use it with any regularity, that's my best advice. The Home Handyman, you got something better? Drop it in the comment below. You differ with my opinion, let me know. I hope you click subscribe, keep following me. You folks have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.